The studio buzzed with excitement as the crowd filled the seats for the Queen Latifah Show. It was one of those rare episodes fans had been eagerly anticipating, Queen Latifah and Martin Lawrence together again after years of separate projects and rumors of behind-the-scenes tension. The two were comedy royalty, legends of a golden era when television sitcoms had heart, humor, and raw authenticity. As the lights dimmed and the show's theme music blared through the speakers, the energy inside the studio reached a fever pitch. Queen Latifah walked out with her usual grace and commanding presence, her radiant smile lighting up the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said over the cheers, "make some noise for one of the funniest men alive, my brother, Martin Lawrence." The audience roared as Martin appeared, dressed in a crisp black jacket and jeans, his signature grin intact. He hugged Latifah warmly before taking his seat beside her. For a moment, everything felt perfect, two old friends catching up in front of millions. The cameras zoomed in as they traded playful jabs about their early days in Hollywood. "You remember that time on Living Single," Latifah teased, "when you stole my catering snacks between takes?" Martin laughed, shaking his head. "You still on that? That was 25 years ago. I was hungry, Queen." The audience erupted in laughter, and the chemistry between them was undeniable. But as the show went on, the tone began to shift. Queen Latifah, ever the seasoned host, moved into deeper territory. "Martin, you've been through a lot, your hiatus from acting, your public struggles, and all the talk about your career. How does it feel being back now?" Martin nodded thoughtfully. "It feels good, real good. You know, I took some time for myself. Hollywood can drain you if you let it. I had to step away to find peace again." The crowd applauded, but Latifah wasn't done. Her producers had prepared questions designed to draw emotion, and maybe controversy. She leaned forward and said softly, "Some folks in the industry say you didn't just step away. They say you walked away angry. That you burned some bridges. Is there truth to that?" The applause died instantly. Martin's smile froze. The air thickened with tension. He blinked, his expression hardening as he leaned back in his chair. "Burned bridges," he repeated slowly. "That's what they're saying now." Latifah offered a careful smile. "I'm just asking what people want to know. You know how it goes." Martin's tone sharpened. "Yeah, I know how it goes. But I didn't come here to talk about gossip, Queen. I came here to talk about what's next, my projects, my growth, my story." The crowd murmured uneasily. Latifah tried to steer the moment back toward levity. "Of course, and we'll get there," she said, still smiling. "But come on, Marty. You gotta admit, there were some heated moments back in the day." Martin chuckled, but the laugh was forced. "Heated moments, Queen, we all had moments. You've had them, I've had them. That's life. But why you bringing that up like I'm some angry dude who couldn't handle success?" Latifah opened her mouth to respond, but Martin cut her off. "I thought this was gonna be love, man. I thought you were gonna celebrate the wins, not drag out the old dirt." A collective gasp rippled through the audience. The tension was unmistakable now. Queen Latifah's professional smile faltered slightly, but she kept her composure. "Martin, you know me better than that," she said firmly. "This isn't about dragging you. It's about truth. People have watched you grow. They deserve to hear your side." Martin's eyes darkened, his voice rising. "My side? I already lived my side. I don't need to explain myself to nobody, not the press, not fans, and definitely not on my friend's show." Latifah's expression softened, realizing she may have gone too far. "Marty, I didn't mean." But Martin was already standing. The audience gasped again as he pulled off his lapel mic, the cord snapping slightly as he yanked it free. "Nah, I'm good," he said, his tone sharp but wounded. "I came here out of respect, because I thought you'd keep it real. But this right here, this ain't love, this is TV." "Martin, wait, come on, sit down," Latifah pleaded, reaching toward him. But Martin stepped back, shaking his head. The cameras followed as he turned toward the exit at the side of the stage. "I've dealt with fake smiles for too long," he muttered. "Not doing it here." The audience sat frozen, some clutching their phones, unsure if they were witnessing a real meltdown or a publicity stunt. Queen Latifah called after him, her voice tinged with both frustration and sadness. "Martin, don't do this." He paused just long enough to glance back at her. For a fleeting moment, the hurt on his face was unmistakable. Then he turned and walked off stage, the sound of his footsteps echoing through the silent studio. The camera zoomed in on Queen Latifah, who sat back slowly on the couch, blinking as if trying to process what had just happened. The show's producer whispered urgently from off-camera, "Cut to commercial." Cut to commercial. And just like that, the screen faded to black, leaving millions of viewers across the country stunned, debating whether they had just seen two longtime friends have a genuine falling out on live television. What had started as a warm reunion between two legends had turned into a moment of raw, unscripted emotion, one that would dominate social media and entertainment headlines for days to come. Backstage erupted the second Martin disappeared behind the thick red curtains. The crew scrambled to switch camera angles, producers barked into headsets, and stage managers whispered frantically about whether to cut to commercial or keep rolling. Queen Latifah remained seated on the couch, motionless. The vibrant smile that had carried through every episode of her show had vanished, replaced by a stunned, quiet stare. The crowd, once electric, was now murmuring in uneasy waves. A few audience members even wondered aloud, was that real? As the live feed cut to commercials, the atmosphere on set turned tense and unsteady. Queen Latifah stood slowly, exhaling a breath that trembled at the edges. She handed her microphone to a nearby assistant and muttered, "Let me go talk to him." No one tried to stop her. Everyone in the studio knew this wasn't just another celebrity spat, this was a clash between two longtime friends, two icons whose shared history went back decades. Meanwhile, in the hallway outside the stage, Martin paced furiously, his face tight with frustration. His assistant trailed behind, trying to calm him down. "Marty, come on, man," she said softly. "You know she didn't mean to throw shade like that. She's just doing what talk show hosts do, ask tough questions." Martin turned sharply, his voice echoing down the corridor. "Tough questions? That wasn't a question, that was a setup. I came here thinking we were gonna have fun, talk about my movie, my comeback, and instead, she drags up the same Hollywood nonsense that almost broke me." He ran a hand over his face, clearly fighting to keep his composure. "You don't do that to a friend. Not on national TV." Back on stage, Queen Latifah ignored the producer's warnings to let it go. She walked quickly toward the backstage area, heels clicking on the floor. The moment she found Martin, she stopped a few feet away, her expression unreadable but filled with concern. "Martin," she said gently, "can we talk?" He didn't answer right away. He was still fuming, his chest rising and falling rapidly. Finally, he turned to face her. "Talk about what? You already said what you had to say, in front of millions of people." Latifah crossed her arms, choosing her words carefully. "You think I did that to hurt you?" she asked quietly. "I wasn't trying to come at you, man. I just wanted you to have your say, to set the record straight about everything people been saying for years." Martin shook his head, eyes flashing. "Then you should have told me that before I sat down on that couch. You blindsided me. You don't ask a man on live TV if he burned bridges when he's been working for years to rebuild them." His voice cracked slightly, the anger giving way to something deeper, betrayal. "I thought you were different, Latifah. I thought we had respect between us." Queen Latifah sighed, her expression softening. "We do," she said. "You're my brother, Martin. But sometimes, family gotta face hard truths. I didn't bring that up to embarrass you, I brought it up because people keep twisting your story, and I wanted you to take it back." The air hung heavy between them. Martin leaned against the wall, his voice quieter now. "You could have told me off camera. We could have handled it like grown folks, not some talk show spectacle." Latifah nodded slowly. "You're right," she admitted. "I should have handled it better." She took a hesitant step closer. "You've been through a lot, man. I didn't mean to make you relive it in front of everybody. I just wanted them to hear your side, from you." Martin rubbed his forehead, finally meeting her gaze. "It's not easy," he murmured. "Every time I try to move forward, someone drags me back to the worst chapter of my life. And coming from you, it stung, Queen. It really did." Her eyes softened. "I get that," she said. "I really do. But you're still that same dude who made the world laugh, who carried a whole generation of black comedy on his back. I wasn't trying to tear you down. I was trying to remind people you never went anywhere." Martin's anger faded, leaving only exhaustion. He nodded slowly, his voice almost a whisper. "I know your heart, Queen. I needed a minute to cool off. If I hadn't walked away, I might have said something I couldn't take back." Latifah smiled faintly, relief flickering in her eyes. "That's fair," she said. "You always did have a temper." He chuckled despite himself. "And you always did push buttons just to see what happens." The two shared a brief, Genuine laugh, the tension easing at last. Latifah stepped forward and wrapped him in a hug. "You're still my brother," she said softly. "We good?" Martin hesitated for a second, then hugged her back. "Yeah," he said finally. "We good. Just no more ambushes, all right?" "No more ambushes," she promised. When the show returned from its extended break, Queen Latifah walked back onto the stage alone. The audience was still buzzing, unsure if Martin would return. She looked straight into the camera and spoke from the heart. "Sometimes family has tough conversations," she said. "And sometimes we walk away for a minute. But real family, we always come back." The audience erupted in applause. And while Martin didn't return to the stage that day, he posted later on social media, "Much love to my sister Queen. We're good, just keeping it real, like always." The moment went viral. Clips replayed across social media, talk shows dissected every frame, but the message was clear: it wasn't about drama. It was about two icons showing that even after fame, friction, and years apart, friendship, real friendship, was still worth fighting for.